Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So I've come for a Sunday morning ride out today. I was going to go over to Ollerton straight away to go to the, I don't know what bikers call it, whether it's called the Green Calf or something like that. But my wife was insisting that the only reason that I'm coming out this morning is to go out for breakfast. Now, never having breakfast at the Ollerton Calf, I thought, well, actually I might come out and have breakfast, but I'll come to somewhere that I've come with the family and it's quite a family favourite. So I've come to a pub called the Young Vanish at Glatwell, where they're doing all you can eat breakfast for about a £5, something like that. It's, yeah, it might be like £5.20, £5.30, something like that. And you can have, I mean, I don't want to take camera inside because you get probably some people will be funny. The owners might be okay, but I don't have a mount and I've got to carry my helmet and everything in there with me. But you get like sausage, bacon, hash browns, beans, tomatoes, mushrooms, fry bread, eggs. They used to do chips at breakfast time, which if you came for breakfast later on in the day, maybe 11, half 11 when it finishes, then you could basically like have sausage and chips as much as you want for a £5. So I've done some alterations to the bike, not massively, since I went to Matlock. I bought something for the bike which is coming really handy, because when I went to Matlock I had the rucksack on my back with the GoPro in. So searching on the internet, the next scarf's falling down, I can feel that. I noticed that there were some top boxes for sale. In fact, I was searching for top boxes, so that's what I've bought. So I'll spin you around now, and that's what I bought. This Orion one. It came with 2 keys. It came with a mounting bracket as well, just under there. And it's a decent one. It doesn't have the screw fitting, where if I lift this out of the way, it doesn't have the screw fitting in there. It's got this push button, so if you push that, pull up the case and pull it backwards, it'll come off because it's got 2 lugs here. You can see one there and one there. But it's only like got a rubber clip that holds it on, which is that bit pushes this bit. So I've pulled that out with a screwdriver to lock it on more. If it ever falls off and I get it back on, I'll probably just drill through here into the mount underneath, because you can see it sticks over the metal bar quite a bit, and secure it through there. Or to make sure I drill the right place, I'll drill up through the bottom and then bolt it on, because I'm very unlikely to take this off. But it just comes in handy now, so gloves, stuff like that, I can chuck into here. This lock, because obviously that was locked onto the metal rack at the back, that can now come in here. So yeah, happy with that. I do like the handlebars that I've put onto here. If you're wondering where these handlebars are from, these are from the Two Wheel Centre at Mansfield Woodhouse, Nottinghamshire, and that's where I bought these from. Now, they weren't cheap. I don't really know how other expensive bars are, but these were 50 quid for these bars. It's a solid aluminium bar with a support on it as well. I'm going to leave that on. Other news, I've just this morning ordered a GoPro mount from Amazon. It was 15 quid, so that should bolt onto there, and then you'll be able to see where I'm riding, and if you get people in cars pulling out on you and stuff like that, I said to my wife it'll be good for that, because you can use it for insurance. So if anyone ever pulls out on me and I hit their car because I don't have enough time to stop and, you know, all that stuff, then I've got proof. It's not my word against theirs. I mean, I probably will still get a camera for the helmet. I mean, I was going to be over the top when I was returning back to biking. I was going to put a camera on the front of the bike and a camera on the back of the bike, just in case you ever get that person who comes flying up towards you and smacks you in the back of the bike and knocks you off that way. The bike's okay. I mean, it's a cheap Chinese bike. It does have quite a bit of engine noise compared to Japanese bikes like Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, which I've had, and they're all smooth running bikes. Never ran a Kawasaki, so I can't compare it, but I'd say I'd guess it's going to be as smooth. But it gets you about. It does pull. You know, it's got quite a bit of power. But I'm a 20 stone bloke. You know, I'm 6'3", but around, I think it was sort of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 revs, you do hear quite a bit of engine rattle, almost like it's going to fart bolts out at exhaust. But it does get by that, and then it smoothens out and goes quiet. But it's a cheap bike at the end of the day. On these, the seat isn't removable. Apparently it's bolted underneath through there, so you'd have to take that off that way, but you don't need to go into there. I think when I was at the showroom, he showed me that the fuses are behind here, and when you come around this side, that the battery's under there, and the toolbox is in that little bit there. Never took it out to check what tools are in there, but I might end up, if I go on longer journeys, taking it out, seeing what's actually in there, and if there's other stuff that I actually need for adjusting the chain, because there's probably not sufficient spanners and sizes to do that for the chain adjustment. But being a Chinese bike, it's got quite a good chain adjustment. Actually, some of the Hondas, the new cheaper Hondas, not the Super Cub, but I think it's the CT125 or the Chinese copy of the Cub, the chain adjuster isn't as good as that. So kickstart as well, never used the kickstart. Also on this, it's got the switch on the kickstand just here, so if you leave the kickstand down, the bike will never start. That's to stop you obviously riding off with the kickstand down. Now it did actually sort of happen. My neighbours came round to look at the bike, and it was on the centre stand, but the kickstand was down as well. He caught it with his leg, and he was trying to start it up, and it wouldn't start with the electric. He used the kickstart, and I'm like, oh no, I've just bought this bike home. What's wrong with it? It's gone wrong already. So he worked it out before me. It was the kickstand. Flicked it up, it fired up, no problem. And yeah, it's great, no problem. Obviously, it's still mucky from when I went out to Matlock Bath the other day. So my wife says, when you get back home, you can wash it and sort it out. But I am using silicone spray on it, and as you can see, just there possibly, I wiped that with my finger this morning, and then I thought, oh no, all the muck's sat on top of the silicone, so that if I do wipe it, anything that comes today, if it chucks it down today, is going to get onto the metalwork. And obviously I don't want any rust around the welds here on the rear suspension. So the rear suspension's adjustable, the front isn't. But as I said, I think on a previous video, when I had the handlebars off, I did undo these two bolts here, take the top screws out. Now when it's original, if it's original when you buy it, that'll be no problem. You can just take those out. But when I changed mine, it had a 40mm pipe spacer in the top of there. I'll have to show you, I've got the parts in the garage still. And I changed it to 100mm, but I just couldn't compress that spring and get that top cap back on. So I then cut them back down to 80mm, and I managed to get that back in. But it did cut my hand up with the spanner on top, trying to force that nut back on there. But it's done, and it's made the suspension a lot better because it was so soft. I mean, they're only little forks anyway with little springs in. But for a big guy like me on it, it did bounce around a lot. But now that suspension's done, and the handlebars are done, it's quite a nice ride. It's slow, obviously. It's a 125 with a big bloke on it. But it's my first bike motorcycling again, and it's great fun. But anyway, time to get in there into the young Vanish and go and have some breakfast. So thanks for watching, and I'll get the camera out again when I get to the Green Calf at Ollerton. So I'm going to quick have some snap here, look at the phone, sort out my route, because I don't want to go back through Mansfield. I'll try and find some nice country lanes to ride around and get to the Green Calf, and if there's some bikers there, I'll get the camera out and show you that. Alright, take care, bye.